The Toronto Raptors have robbed the NBA, as Masai Ujiri has done it once again in this year's second round, finding another hidden gem that's getting overlooked across the NBA. Last season, he did it with Jamal Shead, and this season, he replicated that magic in bringing in Alijah Martin, who frankly fits the bill of exactly what I'd be looking for after watching the NBA Finals, after watching all the intensity, the aggressiveness, the elite defense that was shown throughout this year's playoffs. This man is a winner. He's an elite defender. He's a three-point shooter, and frankly is going to terrorize other teams' benches along with Jamal Shead, along with CMB, along with Jonathan Bobo. This team is shaping up to be one that I'm very, very excited to watch next season. So we're going to break down this draft pick. But before we do, folks, again, I want to thank everyone that's joined us on this ride to cross that 38,000 subscriber milestone. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Join the community if you don't want to miss a single thing going on with this Toronto Raptors team and get all the latest updates, because frankly, this has me extremely excited. So what's going on? What just happened? Well, the second round of the NBA draft is going on here right now, and the Toronto Raptors ended up selecting Alijah Martin, who is a very interesting player. So who is he, and why did he fall? What's going on with him? Well, let's break him down as a basketball player, because he's not a very young rookie by any stretch of the imagination. He is 23 years old. He'll be turning 24 at some point next year. He's a shooting guard, and he's only 6'2". And now, I've seen a lot of people, before I dive into the analysis and dive into why I'm so high on this pick, watching some tape here in between recording this, look at the stats, look at what people are saying about him. He is an undersized guard, yes, but he makes up for that in his giant wingspan. I've seen a lot of people, oh, there's another short point guard, yada, yada, yada. No one will be called out. This dude's defense is on an absolute another level. He is a remarkable athlete. There's analysts coming out and saying he's the best pound-for-pound athlete in the entire NBA draft. And frankly, if you just watch 2 minutes of his defensive highlights, you'll see this man is an absolute dog on that end of the floor. And he's clamping everybody he's going up against and has a very, very long wingspan. So defensively, that's really more important than your height. How long is your reach? So that is a guy that Alijah Martin certainly is, in terms of athleticism, in terms of frame, in terms of everything like that. But can he play? Can he hoop? Because that's another criticism on the first initial reaction. It's like, oh no, just another raw athlete that can't do anything else, yada yada yada. Well, that's not the case with Martin either, because we take a look at his stats. We take a look at what he did last season, winning a championship down in Florida. This man was an absolute menace out there on the basketball court. 14.4 points per game, 1.5 steals per night. Not a crazy facilitator. Again, he's a shooting guard, not a natural point guard. 4.5 boards, but he shot 35% from the three-point line and shot very effective out there from the three-point stripe his entire college basketball career. Like, he is a good three-point shooter. This is not some guy with a busted jump shot coming into the NBA. He can knock down threes off the dribble. He can knock them down off the move. He can knock down those set threes, and that's exactly what you want out of a guy that is, undersized in height. Again, has some length, so defensively he'll definitely translate to the NBA. But even in his second year, shot 40% out there from the three-point line and takes a high volume. Like, he is 35% last season on 6 attempts per game, which in college is a high amount. So he can shoot. He's a dog defensively, and he's just really a guy that could come out and played all those years of Florida. Like, the Toronto Raptors are looking to come in and be competitive next season. So bringing in an Alijah Martin, who is a guy that won a championship last year out there in college, won the NCAA, right? It's an older rookie, so he's going to be more polished. He's not going to have to, develop into his body or anything like that. He is going to be ready-made right straight into the NBA. And personally, I think he fits really, really well with what the Toronto Raptors are trying to do. Because, again, so many times we see these defenders come into the Toronto Raptors. It's like, oh, they can't, they're great defenders. They have great attitudes. They're defensively great. Their age and all that stuff, But the Raptors are on that timeline. Like, he is the age of all these Scottie Barnes dudes and, players that are on this Raptors team with that young crop here right now. And he's already a guy that's elite defense and can knock down the jump shots. So, we're not having to wait for him to develop. Like, Jamal Shead last year, and Jamal Shead won a lot of people over. The Shead heads have united right now. We'll talk about his fit out there off the bench, but he had to develop his jump shot last season and did certainly improve. Like, Jamal Shead definitely got better with his jump shot over the course of last season, but now, we're not too worried about that out there with Alijah Martin coming in because he's a high volume and highly effective 3-point shooter. So Masai Ujiri has a guy that's polished, coming in, ready to go, ready to win, ready to be effective out there on the squad. But I've seen a lot of people, because if we take a look at the pros and cons, who he is as a basketball player and everything out there along those lines, there's a few strengths and weaknesses to his game. Like, he is tough. He is a tough guy. He is straight intense. He is ready to go night in, night out. So that's the first kind of strength of him. He's an experienced scoring guard, so he can get buckets. He can put the ball in the hole in different areas. He's compact and confident with his shooting stroke, so he's got a nice release. He knocks it down from the three-point line, and he can finish through contact. Like, he is a 3-and-D guy and can also finish at the basket, because usually when you see a guy, 3-and-D or whatever, they don't have much bag on them at all. And, he's not going to be, like, playmaking a ton out there on this team, but he's a 3-and-D guy that can also finish at the rim with his strength and athleticism. It's great to see. I mean, if you watch this man dunk, if you watch some of his highlights, slamming that ball down, it is very, very exciting. And he's competitive, right? He has a long wingspan. He is just ready to go out there on this squad. So that's a lot of positives. Of course, not perfect. He did fall the second round for a reason. This is why some people are coming out and roasting him, essentially saying he's undersized. And now his wingspan makes up for it, but, especially shooting release and stuff, he's undersized. So that is something to take into account. Limited playmaking and creation. He's a 3-and-D player. He's not going to be Jamal Shead creating, doing all this stuff. He is a wing. He's a complementary piece there. He's not, while he can finish at the rim, creating his own shot, like, he's not going to be, one of those wings that's just chopping people up, crossing people over, and doing all that stuff. And basically, the reason he fell is because it's the tweener role. He's the height of a point guard, but is a really solid shooting guard out there in the league. Now, the wingspan makes up for it, but that's why he fell out there in the NBA draft. But frankly, I look at this team, and I look at what the Raptors are constructing, watching the NBA Finals, watching where the league is going, about defense coming back, being important, having all these guys that can just really play at that level, out there in the postseason. He fits that bill. And, people say, this is just Jamal Shead. Jamal Shead's a point guard. Jamal Shead is a true leader, point guard, facilitator, does all that stuff out there on the court. Jamal Shead is not affected by this draft selection anyways. Like, I think there's a case to be made that, 2 seasons from now, maybe shorter, depending on how much he develops this season, Shead could be the starting point guard for this team. That might be tough to say with Immanuel Quickley, but I am the biggest Shead lover out there on this on Raptors fandom. But I digress out there on that point. But off the bench next season, it's going to be Shead. It's going to be Elijah. It's going to be CMB, right? Our number 9 overall selection. Jonathan Mobo is going to be there. You look at those 4 players. Of course, Gradey Dick's going to be involved, whether he's starting or not. Of course, RJ's on the team, like Jacoby Walter. You have your centers, where we'll figure out what's going on in that situation. But even Alijah Martin, throw that out there. Okay, off the bench. We run a Shead, we run a Martin, we run a CMB, we run a Jonathan Mobo, and we run an Alijah Martin. Offensively, there's going to need to be some work. There's going to need to be some stuff in there. You flip a Jacoby in there, Gradey Dick. That other team, if we ran that lineup for 48 minutes, the other team might not get to 50 points. They just might not get there. That is that is an absolutely elite athletics. That is a team, that is a 5-man unit that is hounding and shutting down any team that they're facing up against. Like, Masai Jury is aggregating off our bench a bunch of dogs. And then interwoven in it, you have Jamison Bell, you have Gradey Dick, you have Jacoby Walter. The Raptors have sneakily put together one of the deepest teams in the NBA. Now, of course, there's expectations for moves and big fish and all of these types of things over the course of this season. We'll see how the roster ends up shaping up. I don't think it's going to look the same way now as it will in September, but bringing in Alijah Martin gives the Raptors so much more options to fool around with out there at that tree. Ochai Agbaji. Like, what am I talking about here, right? Like, we run a lineup out there of, forget Alijah Martin out there in the mix. We run Shead, Elijah, Ochai, Jonathan Bobo, as well as CMB. Like, that is just, no one's scoring on that, man. No one is scoring on that defensive lineup. So, I love this pick. I think it's a smart one from Masai Ujiri. I think it's a very, very nice, just intensity adder, culture player that you want in the mix for a second-round pick. Very, very happy with. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. You guys the best thing as far as subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.